Hi crafty friends, Shana from ShanoukiArt. Let's make two of these cute 3-piece sets from one piece of 12-inch by 12-inch paper. For best results, you'll need a double-sided piece of 12-inch by 12-inch paper. I'm working on white for now to show you the measurements. Fold your paper in half to get the middle line. I know the markings are difficult to see. I'll have a clearer version shortly. After marking the middle across, we're going to draw a diagonal line from bottom left to the right middle. We're then going to mark 1.5 inches on the right and the left as shown here, and we're going to draw a line to touch the diagonal. That's for the bottom section. For the top section of our paper, we're going to mark 3 inches across twice, and we're going to draw a line to the top. We're then going to measure 4 inches and then 2 inches. Draw our lines to the top, and we're then going to measure going down. We're going to measure 3 inches and do that across from left to right. This will create all the rectangles that we need to create all our bits for our little set. Here is a much clearer image with all the measurements. You can either screenshot or jot these down for future reference. I'm going to be working with this really pretty double-sided scrapbook paper. This is from Stamperia and it's their Lilac Flowers collection. I will put a link to their website in the description box below. Of course, you can use whatever you have in your stash. And if you only have a single-sided scrapbook paper, that will work fine too. We're now going to go ahead and do all the markings on our paper so we can cut. We first need to find the center of our page. You can either do this by folding like this. You put the corners together and pinch the edges to get the markings, or you can also use your ruler to measure. Most 12-inch by 12-inch are exactly 12-inch by 12-inch, so you'll mark down at 6 inches, and we're going to do a pencil mark across from left to right. If you'd like to receive one of these sets as happy mail from me, watch until the end of the video. We then need to do our diagonal line from the bottom left to the middle right. We're then going to mark 1.5 inches on the edges from the middle down and from the left bottom corner up. We're going to draw a line from the marking we've just made into the center to touch the diagonal line. Working in the top section, we're now going to make some rectangles. We're going to measure out 3 inches and then another 3 inches and then 4 inches, and there'll be 2 inches remaining. Draw lines from the top to the bottom on these markings. The top right quarter is going to be divided in half again. We're going to mark 3 inches down, and then we're going to make a line from left to right. And that's all our marking complete. We're now going to cut all this up. You can either use a scissors or a cutter, whatever you have handy. Working with our largest pieces, which are the ones with the diagonal cut, we're now going to fold this into our multi-level pocket. Start by folding in half, lining up the pointy corner with the opposite end. We're then going to fold it again with the pointy corner aligned with the opposite end. We're then going to turn it over and we're going to fold back the largest section, aligning the corners. And that is how you make this type of multi-level pocket. We're going to repeat the process for the second set. When using the double-sided paper, I like to alternate how I fold this. So as you can see, the first one I made, the small triangle at the bottom is floral, whereas this one will be the lilac. But you can do it whichever way you like. And then that small triangle that we cut from our diagonal, we're going to attach at the back for an additional mini pocket. I'm applying a small amount of glue stick just to keep this in place, as I am going to sew this together with my sewing machine. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can glue all the sides together with some glue or double-sided tape. Because I'm using lighter colors and florals, I'm going to use my corner punch to round the corners. I think this gives it a softer look. I'm then going to run it under my sewing machine to sew everything together. I've gone all the way around, which will seal all the sides and close the pockets. I've used a white thread, and at the bottom I've used a different kind of stitch just to add a little bit of difference and something pretty. And as I normally like threads hanging, I've left all the loose threads. There was a bit of a bunching at the back of this one with the bobbin, but I don't mind that because normally I like bunched thread. I think it adds to the interest. Using the two largest rectangles that we cut earlier, we're now going to make the mini envelopes. I'm making a fold, leaving approximately about 1 inch at the top. That part will be the flap of the envelope. I'm then finding the center point again by making a fold, and I'm going to use my small circle punch to punch a half circle, just to allow me to be able to put things in and out of the little envelope. I'm then folding down the top. I will repeat the process with the other one. There are some pencil markings showing from where I drew my lines. I'm just going to use an eraser to get rid of those. Using my corner punch again, I'm going to round the corners of the envelope flap and the bottom corners. Back to the sewing machine again, I'm going to stitch down the sides and the bottom to close the envelope, and I'm also going to do some stitching on the flap just for some additional interest. The next lot of cut rectangles are going to be made into little booklets. These are super easy. We're just going to fold the rectangles in half. These will be the little covers. I'm just going to round these corners too. I'm going to use this plain grid paper for the inside of my little journal. I'm not really measuring with the ruler. I'm just sort of eyeballing with the cover. And as you can see, this first one that I cut is a little too small. That's okay, we can cut another one. We're just going to measure that roughly, and then I'm just using my ruler to tear that to size, and I'm going to need 4 of those, 2 for each notebook. And then to attach everything, because it's nice and thin, I'm just going to run it under my sewing machine. I think these are so cute. And then the last 2 rectangles, which are the smallest ones of the ones we cut, are going to be made into tags. Using an existing tag as a template, I'm going to use that to cut the top corners to shape it as a tag. I'm now going to decorate. This you can do as little or as much as you want, or you can leave them plain if you prefer. Back to my scrapbook pad, I have this beautiful handwritten print in the lilac and the white. I'm going to cut a section of that for some background paper. Starting with the two little notebooks, I'm going to use a piece of this for background, and then I'm going to add a focal point on top. The stamperia collection that I have comes with die cuts, so I'm going to use a couple of those to decorate my booklets. You, of course, can use whatever you like to decorate. If you don't have special die cuts, you can find pictures in magazines, or you can make your own focal points. I'm roughing up the edges a little bit of my background paper, just using an open scissors and running it against the cardstock. This makes it look a little worn and aged. I'm then going to attach everything using craft glue. We're now going to fill the multi-pockets. Here you can put as little or as much as you want. I like quite a bit in my pockets. It's all personal preference. Starting with the two tags we made from our cutouts, I'm adding a piece of lace in the tie. This is just to add some shabby chic loveliness. Tying them in two different ways just to add a point of difference. I'm going to add a small amount of decoration to my pockets. Using that same script type of print, I'm going to put a small piece at the bottom of each, and then also a piece of lace to tie that all in, and then I'm going to add a die cut. I've chosen a little bird and a bunny. Everything I'm making today is going to be two sets. So we have the multi-level pocket, the little notebook, and the envelope we're about to finish now. If you would like to receive one of these sets as a happy mail from me, all you need to do is comment below. In a week's time, which will be the 14th of October 2024, I will randomly select one comment and you will be the recipient of one of these sets. All you'll need to do is email me at shanouki@hotmail.com to receive your prize. Don't forget to check back on the 14th to see if you're the winner. The winner's name will be posted at the top of the description box of this video. I have these vintage style papers that I'm going to fold and add into the pockets. Also adding a ready-made tag in that same crafty vintage color. I'm using a small paper clip to keep my little notebooks closed. I then decided to add a trim on my pockets. Thankfully, the glue of my little embellishment was still wet, so I was able just to pull that off quickly. And I'm going to attach this small thin lace on the edge of the one pocket. And repeat on the other one. For the envelopes, I'm adding just a small piece of folded paper on the inside. This can be like a secret journaling spot. You could also add a photograph or little bits of ephemera. And then for the closure for these, I'm going to use a small die cut again, and I'm going to use a brad. I'm going to find the center section of this flap. I'm going to poke a hole with my awl, and then I'm going to feed the brad through there to keep everything in place. Now, of course, we could stick this down, but because I want to create a closure, I am going to put some threads around this which will wrap around. I'll show you shortly what I mean. These beautiful threads are available from Taperlogy, link in the description box below. I'm adding them around the brad underneath my die cut, and then I'm just going to wrap it around over the back and then wrap it around the brad again just to keep it closed. Let me show you again. Finding the center of the piece of thread, we're going to put that over the die cut and round the back so it goes over the brad, wrap it down over and then around the die cut again. Simple but effective. A few more pieces for the small pocket in the front and of course the pocket at the back. Let's not forget about that. These are ready-made tags, part of the Stamperia scrapbook pad. I'm going to cut these out and add them as additional tags in the back of my pockets. And then I'm also going to use two of the others that I'm actually going to cut in half and use as smaller little journaling spots or little mini tags that are going to go in the small front pocket and the small back pocket. For the back pockets, I'm going to shape them into little tags, and I'm going to add those with a piece of that scrapbook paper that has a script that I used for the background of the notebooks, just so that everything connects and is cohesive. I really hope you enjoyed this video and were inspired to create your own little mini sets for your junk journal. Don't forget to comment below if you'd like to get one of these sets as a happy mail. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Thanks again for watching. Happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.